what was the most eye-opening thing that you saw coming from the supplier side going to the client side, just to start things off?
There's of course a lot of things. You know, the opposite side basically. So there's a lot of things. I would say for the most, let's say learning the structure, learning about the internal communication, and how information are shared, how it's done, how things are set with budgeting and stuff like that.
This is Beire Behind the Scenes, where we uncover and discuss trends in the European exhibition market and talk with some of the most experienced event professionals around. Today, I'm joined with Maciej Fanta, who has a really unique perspective on the entire European exhibition market, having started with Beire for almost a decade, and then moving to the client side for a number of years, and is now back as a senior account manager at Beire with us. Welcome, Maciej Fanta. So when we talk about your experience, and you really grew up at Beire, that was where you started your basically your professional career, and then you took a break to go to a client of Beire's. Now, when you made that jump, what was the most eye-opening thing that you saw coming from the supplier side going to the client side, just to start things off?
There's of course a lot of things. You know, the opposite side basically. So there's a lot of things. I would say for the most, let's say learning the structure, learning about the internal communication, and how information are shared, how it's done, how things are set with budgeting and stuff like that. That was probably the most interesting thing.
So, were those things that you didn't see when you were an account manager? Because you had worked with this client, you had worked with a number of other very big clients. So you were familiar with them. But what was something that really surprised you when you got there and you were really on the inside?
There are a lot of actually things that surprised me. I mean, of course, you're having this client, you're having these conversations with them, but you never really know what's behind the scenes, what's behind the wall. Really, you always get the information from the front side, right, from the marketing manager, and so, I mean. For example, when I was on the supplier side, I was never understood when we were talked about a product list of products for each exhibition. Mm-hmm. I was just I didn't understand why is it taking so long. I mean, to decide about that. What's so difficult about it? And then I knew that it's quite surprising how many people is actually involved in that decision for each exhibition, and how many people has to say, and rightly to say, unnecessary say at the same time, and how living this thing is actually is, because when we are preparing the exhibition for, I don't know, 8 months before the exhibition, mm-hmm. the exhibition, the list of products was really a living thing. So it's changing all the time. Every 3 months, it's just different, and it's very challenging to actually prepare a design of the booth when you don't know what you're actually showcasing.
That's true. So when we talk about developing the product list and going through with some of the internal stakeholders, so maybe talk us through what it was like at Systemair, at the company you went to. What was it like when they developed a product list? I mean, what were the processes that they had to go through, and maybe what were some considerations? Was it different when they went to an international show versus a regional show versus a European show versus a show in Southeast Asia? I mean, talk a little bit about the process from that perspective.
All right. Yeah. You just mentioned it. It's a very important to know what the exhibition is really about. If it's international show, if it's a large stand where you're showing the entire portfolio of the products mm-hmm. that the company does, or if it's just only focused on one product category or applications or business area that you would like to represent. So basically, what we did, it was once we have set up the design concept, we just wanted to make sure that we are, let's say, following the design concept as much as possible, to be as cost effective as possible, to reuse as much as possible of the existing items from fair to fair, basically. And when you are preparing this list of exhibitions, and when you know that they are coming, you are basically talking to the local responsibles, basically local marketing managers. So if you have a show in Milano, you talk to Systemair Italy. When you have a ISH in Frankfurt, you talk to Systemair Germany. And these are the people that has the most say basically in the product list in the end, because basically they pay the most of the bill anyway. And
Who pays most of the bill?
it depends. I mean, of course, there is a. It depends how the budget is built. It's built individually for every show, for every exhibition. But at the same time, there is a budget that is just, let's say, on a group level for eventual contribution for each exhibition, or like the financial share if you want to, let's say, support someone locally, right? So or if you would like to support not only on a booth building effect, but also like you would like to have a really nice LED screen, or you would like to have this particular product there, which is, which doesn't, it's not existing. We have to produce it, and somebody has to pay for it, etc., etc.